What's up, guys? It's Mark here with a video, and today I want to talk about something that's been on my mind a little bit lately. In fact, it's been on my mind quite a lot lately, and that is the discussion of talent and skills and becoming good at something, especially something creative. A lot of people do ask me all the time. In fact, I got a message on Instagram today from someone saying, "Oh, how can I learn to draw? How can I learn to do lettering? Or what's the tips for picking up the new skill and stuff like that?" And it really gets my mind going, thinking about people who are talented and people who are skilled and what the differences are and stuff like that. So I guess I want to talk a little bit about talent and skill. So I think one sort of misconception is that a lot of people think that talent and skill are the same, and to me they're very different. When I think about someone who's talented, I think about when I was in school or something like that, and there might be another kid there who just seemed to be a natural. It's as if someone's like just genetically gifted to be really artistic, or perhaps really good at sport. And in my mind, skill is really different. Skill is something that is earned. You earn skill by investing hours and hours of practice, and the return on that investment is a new skill. So as long as you're practicing properly, as you continue to put hours and hours into it, you should be getting better and better. And so I think a common misconception, I know for me personally as a child, if I saw someone that was, for example, really artistic, and then I tried to draw like them and stuff like that, and I couldn't draw, I just thought, okay, so I'm not artistic, so art's not for me. And I just never did art again. So as a child, I tried drawing, was like, oh, I can't do that, I'm not very good at that. I seem to be pretty good at maths and science and problem solving though, so I'm going to focus on that. And I never took art at all in school after a very young age. And I didn't even begin to pick up art again until I was 24 or 25, and I'm almost 27 now. So it's only been a few years since I started learning to draw. And so I think a lot of people tend to think, just like I did, that if they're not talented at something, then they can't really be good at it, or it's not for them. And in hindsight, I think that's really wrong. And I'm really disappointed that I didn't clue up on that sooner. And it's not, nothing to do with bad parenting or anything like that. My parents always encouraged me to work hard and to achieve things that I wanted and stuff like that. But I guess in my mind, I just couldn't wrap my head around the fact that I didn't have to be naturally gifted at something to eventually be really good at it. And so I guess the way that I sort of think about it is, if you use like a currency for an example, let's just say that someone's born into a really wealthy family and automatically has a bunch of cash. That doesn't mean that you can't work hard, earn a lot of money, and then develop the equivalent amount of money to them. Sure, they might have, an advantage because they're starting ahead of you, but if you work harder and you really apply yourself, there's not really any reason why you can't still achieve that same level of success. And I think another analogy might be, say, a bodybuilder, for example, right? So if you imagine, obviously the guys who are like at the top of the game in bodybuilding, aside from the drugs, are obviously genetically very gifted. They have amazing genetics for lifting weights and developing muscular bodies and stuff like that. Not everyone has those genetics, okay? But that doesn't mean that you can't still work really hard and develop a really good body or whatever, if that's your goal. And sure, you might not be able to achieve, Mr. Olympia status, but you can still achieve really amazing results. And if someone doesn't put their talent to good use, then it's basically wasted anyway. So if you imagine someone with really good genetics for bodybuilding, if they're a fat slob and don't do any exercise and eat takeaway 24/7, chances are they're going to have a pretty crap body anyway. Whereas you could still work really hard, diet, exercise a lot, and still achieve a great physique. So you can still outperform people who have talent. I think that as time goes on, it gets easier and easier for people who don't have talent, like me, who just aren't particularly talented at their chosen field. It gets easier and easier for us to start catching up with the people who are talented, because it's never been easier to learn a new skill. I mean, you can go on the internet and Google anything. You can learn how to do pretty much any skill online, and you can pick it up in no time at all. I remember being a kid and wanting to research stuff or learn something. I'd have to get my parents to take me to a library and then read like an encyclopedia and spend hours trying to track down the bit of information that I was looking for and stuff like that, until getting the internet when I was a little bit older, which I'm showing my age here, I think. But these days it's just so easy. Like, for example, sign painting. Sign painting is a skill that I'm really interested in, and I've started learning recently. And very few people do that skill anymore. since vinyl printers have existed, and people usually use vinyl for signs now, there's not really any schools or anything like that that teach you how to paint letters and do lettering with a brush, and teach you to paint signs. And without the internet, it would have been really, really difficult for someone like me to learn how to do that, because just no one does it. And yet, even with such a niche, small, narrow field like that doesn't really have a big population anymore, I can still go on YouTube and look at videos of how to paint signs and go on Skillshare and stuff like that. And I can turn that into a living. And that's really, really amazing. So I don't think it matters how old you are. I didn't even start drawing till I was 24, like I said. And, a couple of years in of just dedicating yourself and practicing every single day for a couple hours or whatever it takes, you can learn any skill. So I constantly hear from people who are in a career that they don't like I used to be, and they're really, really bored and miserable, and they think, oh, I wish I'd done that, or I wish I'd done this. Well, there's not really any excuse, I think, to not start learning a new skill. Surely you have some spare time. Cut back on your sleep if you have to. Go online and just research how to learn the skill that would make you really, really happy, because in this day and age, it's easier than ever to do something that you love to earn money. Anyway, I feel like I'm going a bit of a rant now, so I'll let it go for a little bit and stop taking up too much of your time. But I just, in hindsight, I think that people have very few excuses anymore for not doing something that they love. You can turn just about anything into an income these days. And I know I've already talked in some of my videos, but there's so many ways to make passive income and stuff like that, and freelancing, and you can easily do remote work now. There's just so many opportunities everywhere you look. So, I just wish that people would be more aware of that and start, doing things that make them really, really happy. So anyway, guys, I really hope you enjoyed this video. Please feel free to give it a thumbs up if you did. If not, by all means, give it a thumbs down. That's only fair. And yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments and stuff like that. I'm always interested to hear how long people have been designing or doing their chosen craft, or if people change careers. I love listening to people's stories about it, and hearing how they've acquired a new skill. So yeah, thank you very much for watching, guys, and have a great day.